Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I called Do Not Confuse Investigation with Practice. This came about a question somebody asked, what kind of a practice can I do in order to, experience the self or get to know who I am or so? Well, first of all, we have to remember that when someone is very identified with the sense of identity and they are trying to fix the individual, trying to change their life in some way, there's a lot of suffering, whatever the case may be, sometimes they may not be ready to investigate who they truly are, because that is the end of the psychological sense of self. Consequently, there are practices that they can do in order to feel a bit better. And that practice, or any practice, pertains to the individual. These videos are not to sustain the sense of an individual. These videos are to investigate and to see that there's no such thing as an individual. I need to clarify that, because if someone feels drawn to do any particular practice that gives them or brings them some sense of release or relief, whether it's temporal, that's perfectly fine. And we're not here, or I am not here in any way, shape or form disregarding or judging any of those practices. But these videos are not about feeding the sense of identity. This video is about the recognition that I am, which is beyond any kind of identity. I like to say this because if you're watching this video and you're maybe very attached to a particular practice, well, some people could take offense of what I'm sharing in these videos. And once again, if you feel that you want to do any particular practice because for some reason makes you feel better and stuff, that's fine. But these videos are not for you, because these videos are just to remember the fact that I am, which has nothing to do with a person. It has to do with the fact that I am. So, having said that, a practice is something that the mind does in order to have a particular experience. Do a practice, and then eventually I'll have whatever the experience the mind thinks is going to have. The investigation, however, is not a practice. It's to looking if you can find that mind. That mind is what gives us the sense of identity. Once the investigation is done, and it can be seen that the mind cannot be found, because the mind is a thought, that the sense of identity cannot be found, meaning that the person, the idea of who I am, cannot be found. Once that investigation is done and it's clearly seen, then that's it, you see? Because there's no need to hold on to any sense of personal or psychological sense of self. Life is. So in these videos, what we come to the recognition is that we are. You can never negate the fact that you are. Can you say that you are not? But you see, you think that I'm talking to you as a person, and the mind is still engaging in the, okay, I can see that I am. I cannot say that I'm not, but there's still a sense of identity there. I am pointing to a fact, and the fact is that isness. So, when I ask you not to identify with any thoughts, I'm inviting you to notice what is. You see? And in that noticing of what is, you're free. Not you, person, but freedom is. That isness is where this is all pointing to, because the only cause of all suffering and fear and concerns or worry is the identification with the sense of identity with a person, you see? And now that person, or that sense of identity, it wants to do any particular practice in order to get rid of the fear, the concern, the worry. But you see, worry, fear, concern, these are thoughts that seems to appear in what I am. When you investigate that I simply am and thoughts are just basically passing clouds, when that is seen through, then no thoughts can have a psychological effect on the fact that I am, because the I am doesn't have a psychology. The I am simply is. Psychology belongs to the individual, to the psyche, but who I am is that in which everything seems to manifest. And this is where these videos are pointing to, and the investigation here is that let's see if you can find that person that you think you are. And you will not find a person, you will not find an entity. What you will find, however, is a thought that suggests that I am a person. Feelings, sensations appear. These are textures of the one, of the other. There is different seeming textures. Thoughts may seem to appear, but they appear to no one. They just simply appearances. But the thought I individual gets a hold of the feelings and says, this is who I am, these are my feelings, I am feeling this. Or these are my thoughts, and I am thinking the thoughts. And you see, if that has not been investigated, then that very same mind that is hidden under that sense of personal identity now is trying to do some kind of a practice to get rid of the thoughts, to tranquil the mind, to somehow give an end to the suffering. But in reality, it's just the mind now trying to somehow solve the same problem, which is another thought that is appearing in it. You see, that's why Ramana Maharshi used to say that trying to use the mind to get rid of the mind, so to speak, is like asking the thief to become the police officer. It'll follow you for the rest of eternity. You see, when you see through all of it, not you person, but again, this is the limitation of language, when it's seen that I am, because this is, right now, if you don't identify with any thoughts, no, it doesn't matter. They can be there and they will be there, but if there's no identification with them, what remains? Well, this is where this is pointing to. And that which remains, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. That which remains right now, which is this isness, this is it, that's it. Just don't identify with any thoughts, don't believe any thoughts. That which remains has any problems? Is there worry there? Is there fear? Is there a past? Is there a future? No, because all of these are thoughts. Past is the thought, future is a thought, and worry is a thought that is making an interpretation, and that's what turns into what seems to be worry. But if you don't label it worry or anything, then you are. What are problems? Problems are mind's interpretation of present moment experience, but I am. And you rest in the I am. That's why there's nothing to do but to be. And you are being right now. You cannot negate the fact that you are. And this is the beingness this is all pointing to, you see. So the investigation is to simply to look. So you can see for yourself that all that we're reacting to is a thought, but we're reacting to a thought because we haven't investigated the cause. And the cause is the thought that suggests that I am this individual. You see? When that is seen through, then life happens. Life is, and you are life. This is what these videos are pointing to. That's it. Once this is seen, there's no need to do anything. Who would be the one doing anything? With what reason, what purpose? There's nothing to do, just to be, and you are. You cannot say that you are not. You simply are. This is what this is all pointing to, you see? So once again, I reiterate, if someone is very identified with a sense of identity and is not ready to let go of a false sense of identity or whatever the case may be, well, there are practices that are very helpful, and thanks for them, you know, that can help them to kind of calm and feel a little bit better, whether temporarily, of course, because I mean thoughts come and go. So I mean it's not like you're not going to be able to control them or anything like that. They appear and they disappear. But if you do the investigation and recognize that you are, then you are in which all the thoughts seems to appear and disappear, and consequently you are free. And that's what these videos are about. So I hope it served, and as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.